Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Just ahead of Murph. All guests on this Monday, sponsored by Patterson Motors. I passed by it several times on the weekend at that hockey
tournament.
Tournament. Yeah, because we were at the Surrey Sports and Leisure Complex all weekend at a tournament put on by Cloverdale Minor Hockey, under-18 tournament. They did a great job out there. Whitehorse ended up winning it.
Oh, Whitehorse.
It is no tax November at Patterson Motors. Purchase a vehicle from Patterson, and they will pay the GST for you. For more information, go to PatternMotors.com. So, again, a shout-out to Cloverdale Minor Hockey. They did a great job. Coquitlam Joe into the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Donnie, did anyone from the Canucks training staff check in on Patterson when he was off in Sweden? He's so weak. When he skates, he falls down.
Yeah.
I didn't get that perfectly right. Sorry about that, Coquitlam Joe, but you get the gist.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's complaining about him falling down quite a bit, but I mean he was lighter and not as strong in years 1 and 2, Donnie, and it's mind-boggling what's happened to that kid. Canucks
lose 5-1 in Anaheim, 0-3 on the road trip. They host Colorado on Wednesday. Joining us now from Rogers Sportsnet, he's been with the Canucks been covering the Canucks for well over 2 decades. Dan Murphy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, fellas. How are you?
Good. I'm liking the hat. What's that all about?
It's a little place in Tofino, Shed, a little restaurant. Check it out. Their tuna burgers are outstanding. And I know Basant is a great sponsor, but with the weather right now, you guys might need some sort of watercraft sponsor.
Yeah.
Canoes or kayaks or something.
Think about what it's like in Tofino, speaking of which. Hey, Murph, I know this is the obvious question. You've been close to this team all season long. What is wrong with it right now?
I mean, where do you start, Don? I mean, there's from roster construction to, historically bad special teams on the penalty kill to the top players not performing to their abilities. I'm not sure what is at the top of the list, but I mean, there are so many things that have gone wrong this season. And it doesn't seem like they're able to recover from it. You had a decent 6-game road trip to start, and you come back, you can't build any momentum off of that. You have a pretty disastrous homestand, and then you follow up this road trip now, in which you give up 19 goals. I mean, I see the players after the game. There's still anger. There's still lots of frustration. I don't see defeat yet. There's not guys just walking with their heads down, but I can't think it's a really good feeling around the squad right now, because it's not just one hole you have to fix.
Yeah.
There are so many things that have gone wrong. And here it's crazy to think we're not even a quarter of the way into the season, and we're already wondering if the season can be salvaged. And the answer, might be no. So I don't even know what to say, but there's so many things wrong. I think you have to say it starts at the top, and maybe people say, why is there no pushback? And the answer might not be because the players didn't want to. Maybe the players aren't good enough to push back in some of these games against some of these teams. And that might be a bigger indictment of this team than anything.
Murph, yourself, myself, Rick, I don't remember anybody criticizing what the Canucks did in the offseason. Do you know anybody who saw this lack of success coming?
Well, I mean, I think we were all fairly honest in saying that we liked the forward group, right? The top 9 looked as good as it has in the Benning era. And you still look at it and say they should be getting more production with the top 9. The defense to me always looked a little shaky, especially on the right side. And now when you have an injury and a suspension, it just gets worse. So I think the defense was always going to be a question. But the thing is that, the defense has been kind of what we thought it would be, maybe even a little bit better. It's just the forwards haven't come close to living up to expectation. And aside from Vegas, the Vegas game, the goaltending has been excellent. So, I said before the season, I said even money, 50-50 for the team to make the playoffs. That's kind of what I thought. I wouldn't have put a lot of money on it, but I honestly thought they would be performing better than they are right now.
Murph, the special teams, okay, so much talent, the power play should be better. But the PK, I mean, Murph, you got to be. We're shocked at these numbers. They've given up 16 power play goals against in the last 9 games. These are numbers unheard of, Murph.
Yeah, and if the penalty kill's better, do they win a couple of those 1-goal games on the homestand? Maybe. The penalty kill cost them a game, probably in Vegas, and likely last night in Anaheim as well. You cannot lose the special teams battle every night and expect to win games. It doesn't happen in this league. The power play should be a difference maker for them, and it hasn't been able to. It hasn't been able to help plug the leak that is the penalty kill. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously personnel and systems based at this time, and there's zero confidence out there. Teams are whipping it around on them, scoring on them. It's almost like we're calling it like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You get off to a decent start, you take a penalty, and you know they're going to score. It happened 6 games in a row. So, they say half of it's hard work on the PK, but you need to have the right guys out there. I mean, they've got to the point now where they have to play JT Miller and Bo Horvat just to try to win a face-off out there to clear the puck down the ice once. So, they're a little unlucky with Brandon Sutter and his health. They just got Tyler Mott back. But still, regardless of who's out there, a PK should never be in the low 60%. It should.
No, sure. Do you agree with the people when they say the Canucks are too easy to play against, Murph?
You know what? Maybe. I mean, they're still not a big, physical team, but I don't see, I still see Miller trying to initiate. I see Burrows all the time trying to initiate. Especially Luke Shen, when he's out there, he plays hard. I think Dickinson plays a big, heavy game. So, I mean, I think they're too easy to play against in the sense that they're not good enough instead of they're not tough enough, in my mind. If you have a good skilled team, you're going to be hard to play against because you're going to have the puck. So, I mean, maybe that's just another thing we could chalk up to what's gone wrong. But I don't think I would put that near the top of my wish list, getting tougher or bigger in this sense.
Talking with Dan Murphy. What goes through your mind, Murph, when you watch Elias Patterson play right now?
Just a complete lack of confidence, and it's bizarre. I mean, I think back to his best hockey was in the bubble, right?
Yep.
Think how hard in those games he was back checking, ripping pucks off people, winning battles, initiating contact, spinning off contact. That player was, when we saw that, we're like, oh my goodness, this kid is super special. I still think he can get back there. I just think that he's in his own head right now. And just from being around him, a little bit over the last few years, here's a kid that dearly, dearly wants to win. He dearly wants to make people happy with his play. He wants to be successful. He wants to be a difference maker. So I have to believe this is really eating him up. And I said this, I think, I'm not sure if I said it on the radio, but prior to the final home game at Rogers Arena for that homestand, I was down in the hallway, and before games we look at fonts and tape, which is just some facts we might go through during the game and some graphics we might use. And he was standing over my shoulder looking at them as well. And we had a graphic with his shooting percentage, which was 3.9% for the season, and 16.5% for his career. And we both agreed that obviously that's going to regress the means. It's going to go up. But he said to me, yes, but I also have to get into better spots where I'm going to score 1 out of every 5 shots. And I haven't been able to get inside like I used to. So he's fully aware that he's not at the top of his game. And I think there's just no confidence. Rarely would you see him dump pucks in instead of carry it in. And I think they do try to simplify things when they're not playing as well. I will say this, though. Last night, he, trying the Forsberg, I don't know if that was the right play. I finally saw some of those head fake moves and dekes. He got around a couple of people before getting pushed down by Getzlaf at one time. I did see him attempting to make some more of those plays that make him so special. But he's like the rest of his team. He needs something to go right to get some positive vibes going, because it just looks like a shell of his former self right now.
One more, Murph. Quickly. Corey Hirsch on Saturday hinted at dressing room issues, alpha dog issues. What do you believe?
I mean, when I look at the team, I think, the heartbeats of the team are kind of Miller in my mind and Bo Horvat. And, I don't think they're at odds with each other at all. But when you're losing and losing this fashion, I'm sure that there's frustration. I'm sure there can be fractures. I'm sure there can be disagreements. But I think that all comes from a good place of emotion of wanting to win.
Yes.
Now, clearly, you don't want there to be get to a place where you're split and the dressing room split. I haven't heard that. I haven't tried to dig into that. But you do have some big personalities, some big voices, and I think they're still at a point where it's frustration more than anything, instead of locker room issues. But winning can cure everything. Losing makes everything so much more difficult.
Murph, thanks for this. It was
Murph,
late notice.
Murph, hold on a sec. Next time, we'll get you a Donnie and Dolly hat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on. You should be better.
Okay.
You should be better than that.
Has he got one?
Here's the birthday boy.
Oh, wow.
Turned
How
2
old?
on Saturday. Cosmo.
Cosmo.
Oh, my gosh.
Cosmo.
Anything with the Seinfeld reference, I'm a fan of. Thanks so much, Murph. Thanks, Cosmo. Okay, outstanding.
Have a great day.
Almost as good looking as my dog. Almost.
Almost.